All right, a lot to get to in regards to Thomas Edward Patrick Brady II. He returns to practice today. You heard that from Monse Bolaños. Okay, that's when would Tom Brady return? It was a soft date in terms of today being the day. Here's Todd Bowles, his head coach, talking about his star quarterback's return.
When you have all your guys back, you feel good, especially after the injury bug has hit lately. So we're happy to have him back.
Happy to have him back. This from Pro Football Network. League sources indicate Tom Brady's time away included a trip to the Bahamas and an exclusive resort primarily for family time with his wife, Giselle. The latest on Brady's, that was from Aaron Wilson, Aaron Wilson _ NFL. So I believe Colin may have thought about this, and I know that TJ Hushmanzad, who joined me on the Dan Patrick Show, this is a week ago today, he said, hey, here's what I'm guessing. It's a pre-planned vacation. When he decided to go back, Giselle said, you can go back, but we're doing this vacation. And I think smartly, as much as Tom Brady has been an expert in using social media, you would notice there was no social media posts last week. That would just look bad if he's in the Bahamas chilling and his teammates are scrimmaging. But everyone seems to know the deal. This is what happened. And we move on. But there's a lot of other Tom Brady stuff to talk about, including this story, which essentially emanates in Las Vegas, going back to when Tom Brady was a free agent. And remember, you had the video of him on the shop with LeBron James talking about whether or not, why he didn't go to certain teams. And he said, you're going to stick with that. You know what? And for the most part, people believed it was, at the time, Jimmy Garoppolo. The only other guy was Derek Carr. And what's interesting about Derek Carr is, or maybe about this entire story, is the classic mistake that we make throughout not just sports broadcasting. We also make it in life. We make it in business. We make it in judging current history and looking back at historic events, right? We do this constantly. We look through yesterday through the lens of today, and we forget the context of the time. We do it in basketball all the time, right? We talk about, who was it? J.J. Redick, who went after Bob Cousy, and he's like, well, Bob Cousy was playing against plumbers and whatever. Okay? And Bob Cousy couldn't dribble with his left hand. Again, you're looking at yesterday, you're looking at 50, 60 years ago, 70 years ago in the NBA through a lens of today. In fact, at the time, Bob Cousy was an amazing ball handler, an amazing passer. He threw passes that today even guys don't throw. And while there are certain videos where he only dribbled with his right hand, the fact is that he was advanced in terms of his ability to use both hands and to be creative. And in many ways, it had to be dialed back. But the context of the time was, okay, maybe guys had other jobs in the offseason. And maybe the players that if he played today would be far quicker, stronger, more athletic. So too would Bob Cousy. Right? We looked through yesterday through the lens of today. And we're doing that with Tom Brady and with the Raiders. Here's Dana White explaining what went into him breaking the story that the Raiders were close to signing Tom Brady and Gronk until Gruden blew it up.
I didn't want to talk about that, no, but he sort of sucked me into it on live TV. Yeah, it's true. I talked Brady into playing for the Raiders, and Gronk was coming with him, and they were negotiating the deal, and they were really close to getting it done, and then Gruden pulled the deal, and Brady was not happy about it. Neither was I, and I thought that I would never tell that story publicly.
That's all fine and good, but the reality to it is that I was told the L.A. Chargers thought he was coming. The Miami Dolphins clearly thought they had a chance. Like, we're all acting. Brady is a great player. Brady appears to be a good person. Brady appears to be a good father. Brady is a great leader. He is all these things. He is not perfect. And when multiple teams thought they were getting him, as much as I would think it seemed like a mistake for Gruden to pull the plug, we don't know a bunch of the other ramifications. All right, go back and look. What was Derek Carr's situation at the time? This is in 2020. Do you know what else was going on during these negotiations? Nothing, because we were in a pandemic. So in order to be fair, we have to point out the fact that the Raiders had just moved, that Derek Carr had been their leader, that Derek Carr was under contract. And, oh, yeah, by the way, while I think most of us believe, or most of us know, Tom Brady has been better than Derek Carr, you could very easily make the argument that, you know, if it's a 2-year deal, or, you know, even if you, like, Derek Carr's been just as good as Tom Brady over his last years, probably better. We look at the Super Bowl and we say, hey, Tom Brady won a Super Bowl. That's proof positive that not only he made the right choice, but that would have been the result for the Raiders. And they would have been better off. We have no idea. There are so many other variables, so many other things going on, so many things we don't know about this deal. Does it make for a great story? Yes. Is it on brand for Dana White because Dana White is seen as a truth sayer and just says whatever he thinks whenever he thinks it? Sure. Does it make you as a Raider going, man, sure wish we would have had that? Maybe. It could be pointed out that Gruden had foresight. Derek Carr is going to be better this year, going to be better for the next 5 years, had a better year last year than Tom Brady had last year. And, oh, yeah, by the way, I love Gronk. Darren Waller's better. Not historically, just like Derek Carr is not historically better than Tom Brady, but during these times, he is, in fact, better. And we don't know all the different things that go into it, but I do know the mistake that we're all making, myself included, is we're looking at yesterday through the lens of today. There were a bunch of other factors in the Raiders, going to Las Vegas, playing in their new but empty stadium, of course, right? That next year, the pandemic was going on. Brady was openly opining to go into several different teams. We don't know the money. We don't know what would happen with Carr. We don't know what else he would have wanted, how much control he would have wanted. It stands to reason that as much as Gruden respects Tom Brady, Gruden wants to call the plays, and Brady might have wanted something different. There's a million different reasons why you might not make a deal. But the biggest mistake we continue to make is we're looking at it as result-oriented. Buccaneers won a Super Bowl. Buccaneers went to a playoffs the second year. Therefore, the Raiders made a mistake because they only went to the playoffs this past year. We have no idea what would happen.